John.
What's mine?
I'm good. I'm good. Trust me.
There's a chair up there, John.
He's bigger than me. There's a door behind me. That's the most important.
This is mine. Somebody said that's Sparky.
You're a smart man.
Oh, yeah, good.
Slam before it's
Yeah, right.
Can't lose that.
The space in
They let
front.
anyone down.
How's Frank Donnelly?
Okay?
Yeah. Where's Frank
We're
Donnelly?
some back here.
I'm not talking.
I haven't seen him.
I'm not talking.
Shut the door.
How come you walked in with him? That's a bad influence.
Jim, he didn't come this year. I must have grabbed the hottest chair in the bunch. How are you, sir?
Did you see him?
I was saying that because he was giving me all these tips before I flew.
Oh, okay.
Did you feed him?
Yeah, he beat
You
me.
guys need chairs. Just yell out there and Brian will get you some
I
more.
got one right here if anybody wants.
Well, the two guys behind you.
Anybody wants a chair?
There's some room right up here.
That's
Yeah,
right up
put 'em
front.
over
Nobody
there.
wants to sit in the front row.
Nobody sits on the front of the
I
chair.
know.
It's like math class, you know? You make it all on.
We had one watcher, we're screwing around with somebody, and they jumped off.
In the end, we had a.
Come on up here.
Can't believe it. They took my advice and beat me.
No, we tried something like
They were laying people off and everything.
Just wait a couple
They
more
laid off
minutes.
me and this other, one of the last two people in
This
the engine shop.
proves the program has nothing to do with it. If you got a cold room. I know why you're here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Now, wait a couple minutes. Who in this room is already a PAMPA member?
You know, that's.
You are, raise your hand. What is that?
Yeah, I believe I am.
John, you are.
See, there's the key right there. He believes he is, we're not sure.
Yeah, I signed up on the internet, but I don't know if
You don't know if you did
really
send or not.
Yeah, I don't really.
Thank you, sir.
I hate computers.
Are these water decals or are these?
Yeah,
Let me get behind you
I
first.
think so. No, they're stickers.
It's for the next time you poke a
was
hole
hoping
in
it
it.
was.
You are. There's four.
It's not solid weight.
They may be water slide.
I think am I actually on
I believe so.
Did it come from?
These may not be water slide, but when I'm done with them, they will. These may not be water slide, but when I'm done with them, they will.
Scan them?
Yeah.
Please try to get this to Bub, please. Can you pass that to Bub, please?
Yeah, drink it, Buck.
Drink it, Bub. You need that Gatorade.
We got the number 2 engine, Falcon 50, our engine, which is a. that's-
Drink it, Bob.
We gotta be careful with that. Yeah, me and the other guy let me know.
Don't worry,
All right, you guys, for the ones who are on the live stream, they're gonna start in a couple of minutes. We got quite the crowd in here.
When did you go to page?
Well, there's a website, that's where I joined, on the website, I believe I joined.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say, 'cause I found lately is Facebook thing for pay. So there is a website.
Oh man, don't ask me.
All right.
I was trying to ask you.
When it
Quiet!
comes to computers, man, I'm,
Okay. Someone put out the word that if you come, you get money. No.
We heard free beer.
Listen, I appreciate you being here, and I see this kind of as a two-part session, and I'd rather call it a briefing than a meeting. I just want you to know what, as the president of PAMPA and two of the district directors right here, what's on our agenda, okay? And after hearing what we're doing and answering any questions, if there's anyone who's not a PAMPA member and would like to join and you'd like to do it here, I'll figure out a way to do it. Okay? What my concern is, and it would be for me, that if you do want to join, but you don't join here,
It's tight.
you'll forget about it. There are more important things in life. We okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, wait a minute, is John Saunders a PAMPA member? If not, I'll get him back in here.
I don't think he is.
Oh, wait a minute.
And it's John Simpson anyway.
Years ago, they got him confused with John Sunderland too, with the picture trophies. They were off, that was wonderful.
Hey Randy, hey John. All right.
I'm wearing my
Who's that, John Simpson? All right, so I guess I can start. So that's kind of what I'd like to do is give you the background first. Tell you where I think PAMPA's been and where I think it's going. And it's nothing to do with people before me, it's just the way I'm looking at things. So to me, PAMPA is as aggressive or non-aggressive as who's ever running it and whoever's, the leadership team and the people in the field. So, I think the organization goes back to about 73 when it was formed, and there were times when the number of members was really sporty. I mean, 1,500, 1,600, it was a big number. And in those days, I think it was pretty easy to get a big number. It was the game in town, and if you wanted to be in the best, you were gonna be a member of PAMPA, okay? And it's been on a decline, and there are reasons for that. I'm just not one who's good at saying, well, let's just let it die. We had our fun, let's just let it die. I don't know. We've done that at Triple Tree, and we get a whole bunch of people who, obviously have some interest in this, but then you kind of lose them along the way because you don't stay in touch with them. So that's one of the things. So we're down somewhere, I don't know the exact number, 300. There's a whole bunch more that are unpaid because they're juniors. And we have non-US members. Okay, God love them. Maybe two of them right there, I don't know. So when I looked at PAMPA, and no one coerced me, as they did in the Nats, no one coerced me to apply for the job. The only other one who could have probably taken it said, heck no. And he's still the vice president, he's a wonderful guy. So, this is the way I look at it. I wanted to make sure that if I was gonna be the president and these guys were gonna be the district directors, which I think is the most key position in it, that I could believe to myself that I could say to someone, here's why you should join. And if I can't say that, then you need to leave real quick. Okay, you can keep the decals and you need to get out of here. Because I don't view PAMPA, the PAMPA charter, bylaws, whatever you want to say, basically say something close to this. As a special interest group of AMA, we're responsible, thank goodness, to run the national championships in Muncie and to preserve and protect, okay, control line stunt. All right. The downfall to me is who's feeding it, okay? If we're getting older and older and older and there isn't a base coming in below, well, look at the room. When I started going to control line events, I thought I was at an AARP meeting. And I said, man, what is going on here? I'm 76, so this is what, and you guys can say if I'm wrong or not. This is the way I see it, and I've gotten great support from these guys. Matter of fact, the busiest guys are the ones that always volunteer to do more. And John sent me a note and said, what can I do? And I said, don't do anything. You're running the mats. That's enough. We'll catch you in the back end. And Jim Barry is just taking it and run with it. So, as far as I see it, the first 12 months of PAMPA to me is all about recruiting. It's just about growing this organization. In the beginning we can cherry pick. We can get guys, some of them are in the room who've been members in the past. And for whatever reason, didn't feel that the $40 was giving him anything, or maybe the $80 wasn't giving him anything, and I can understand that. I joined because I wanted the magazine. I had no idea what PAMPA did. I just liked that magazine, okay? And so, right before I took over, the previous group, some of them still around, got out the first newsletter, okay, and they were mailed out, and some people that were members didn't get them, And some people that were not members got it, but we're working on that. I didn't get one. And so I called someone and said, David Shores, give me my copy. And it's the first shot. And the next one's ready to go, and the next one is 6 pages longer. Okay? And so one of the reasons I want to grow PAMPA, not as just for the sake of saying, we're growing, it is to have targets. And the higher the numbers, the more we can do. It's just the way it works. Okay? At 7 pages, we probably could get this newsletter out because we don't have the money. Because you add pages, you add postage. All right? And there are a lot of people that don't want it online.
Yep.
Okay, because a lot of people don't have printers. I'm one, I'd like it right here in my hand. I want to take it to the bathroom with me, and sketch on it and do whatever I want.
We didn't need to know that.
Yeah. So that's one element. And the first group we're trying to address are those who were members that we know are still out there doing this. And can we appeal to you to keep this organization and to grow it and to keep it safe? Control Line is the largest group of competitors in the Nats. Control Line. Bigger than any other group. Add up all the RC guys, add up everyone else, add up what we do, and we have more people going to Muncie than anyone else. And that's, to me, is remarkable. But it also says to me, I don't have to be in a defensive position when I deal with the AMA. I can kind of stick out my chest and say, you know what? We have some of the most senior people in the AMA, and you need to treat us right. Okay. So the second thing is, I don't believe there's any organization recruiting people into model airplane flying. If there is, I'm not aware of it. And I don't believe it's the AMA, and I'm not knocking the AMA, and I just don't think that's real high on their agenda. So who's gonna grow Control Line? And I'm just worried about Stunt. Okay, there's combat, and there's speed, and there's scale, and there's all kinds of things. In my view of PAMPA is PAMPA, Stunt. And I know years ago there was a war about that issue, including the man who lived here. And I don't want a war. I want people to be on board. So one of the ways, there are a few ways we can do this, but one way is, and we're having a lot of success, Jim is, and several other people in here, and that's approaching RC clubs and saying, hey, we got some people scattered around, and finding even an acre of land for a circle is not an easy deal. Would you be interested in maybe getting if you have a contest, if we have one of our flyers show up and put on a demo, like Dick did, wherever Dick is, I've lost him out there. And to combine the resources, because what we're finding is that people find out, I didn't even know Control Line was still around. We get that at Triple Tree all the time. Thousands of people. My grandfather used to do that. He's on the circle, we bring him in. I didn't know you guys still do this. What's with the electric? And shame on us. But in the old days, you could hear where a Control Line plane was. It's hard to do anymore. And land has become not more scarce, but available land is more scarce. So I like to leverage that. I like to leverage the RC community that has runways. Okay, so that's the direction we're going. If you ask me when I took over April 1st, give me the names of everyone who's a PAMPA member currently paying, that list isn't available. And it's startling me. I'm not knocking anyone, it's just, how can that be? So the best list I have now is one of everyone who's been a member in the last 6 years. So that's still a little bit fuzzy. Okay, but we'll get that right. We'll get that right. So what I'm looking to do is every district director, like these guys have probably about 4 states each, something like that. But they don't have a list of the PAMPA members. Okay, they don't. So we're gonna give them a list of the PAMPA members. And whether it ends up being a map with pins, we can say to people, we have guys who are really good at what they're doing. They know how to build a Control Line plane. They know what the pattern looks like. And when we find new people, that's where you hook them up. Okay, because right now we get people at Triple Tree, where's the nearest hobby shop? Who are they gonna talk to? How do I find out what these guys know? I don't even know you still do this. All right, so I think on the last, I wish David Schwartz was here. I think since April 1st, not just because of me, because of all the efforts, I think we signed up already like 21 people. Okay? So when you have like 300 and you add 21, that's a pretty good bite. Pretty good bite. So we want to do that. We want to have a national directory where each district director, and it's not a full-time job for them. It's not a full-time job for me. I'll probably make it that way, but not for them. I told them, I said, you know, if I can get a couple hours a week, that'd be awesome. That'd just be awesome. That may just be making a few phone calls or visiting a club or something, putting on a show. We're talking about, should there be a PAMPA championship series? Maybe regionally, so people who are not gonna come here to Muncie can fly in a local event sponsored by PAMPA. And you could be the Northeast, CLPA champion, first place.
Like
And I
soapbox
think-
derby. It's like that. It's in regional and eventually they gather in one place in Akron.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's the downside of the Nats. It is in one place, but it's in Muncie. And there's not a lot of reasons to go to Muncie.
It's a hard spot.
And I'm not knocking it, it's a beautiful facility. So we're looking at that. You have to put things in priority. One of the things that I really want to do, and I mentioned to a couple of people, and they first looked at me like I'm nuts, which I am. But I keep hearing about it, and I heard one of the guys say it here today. If I can't sell the stuff I brought today, I want my spouse to burn it. And I'm saying to myself, is that the best we can do? What if we had a PAMPA registry? What if we knew where there were 16 airplanes? Things that people could use building for. I don't care what it is, motors. I mean, wouldn't it be better if we could find people that are interested in getting into this and saying to them, we can help you. We can help kick this off. All right? Where do you buy a control line kit right now? How far do you have to drive?
About 3 blocks.
Where do you live?
About 3 blocks.
Oh, well, not for me. Not for me. The best place I can go from my house is right here.
I
And
have
it's 5
about
hours.
40 miles to a hobby shop, and they don't sell control.
Exactly. Oh, I got hobby shops in Delaware. They don't even sell wood. Okay? So I'm looking at PAMPA maybe very differently than others have, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying this is the way I see it. That for me, it's a clean slate. And if you're going to grow an organization, the people in the organization, first of all, need to know, what should I be doing in the organization? What's my role? And how do we make PAMPA better?
How about we send a PAMPA member to Ecuador to get some wood?
That's step 7. That'll be after the next election.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things. I think we can double the organization in 2 years. I absolutely believe that. I mean, if each state added 1 person a year, that's 50 people. Okay, that's a pretty good job. So I'd rather go to AMA headquarters and say, look, here's who I am, and you guys need to do more things for us. Okay, we're the ones who are supporting the national championships. Okay, I don't care about these guys with $3,000 radios. They're not coming. Helicopters last year, I think, had 7 entries.
They're closing our parks.
Okay,
Yeah.
we keep coming, and the numbers keep growing.
Then why don't they care about us?
Well, I'll find that out in July.
It's a serious question because they act like they could care less about control line.
Well, it's, if you look at the magazine every other month, there's an article probably by,
Joe Daly.
yeah, by Joe Daly.
Every third one.
The market is drones and RC stuff and crawlers.
But they still have monthly rubber. They still have monthly rubber powered articles.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm gonna try to tap into that. They did tell me in Triple Tree, the executive director was there, and he's a good guy, Chad Boudreau, and he said, look, we got some new money to improve the control line facilities at National Flight Center, whatever it's called in Muncie. I said, that's great, but not a lot of people live within a drive of Muncie. That's great once a year. I said, I need support all year. So one of the things we're doing is you know, I don't have my name tag, but there's someone else here is in the same position I am. I'm a AVP with AMA, which means that I report to a VP of AMA, and I'm responsible in Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, District of Columbia, I think that's it. Oh, North Carolina, right? District 4? Yeah. So why don't guys like John and Jim know these guys? Because they got the same states. Okay? So Chad promised me that I could get a list of every RC club in every state with a contact person. So that's gonna help us. Okay, that's gonna help us. Paul Walker said you cannot climb a flying field in Seattle. So it's built on its own. A lot of us can't do that, but that's crazy. You know, to me, that's absolutely crazy. So I'd rather go to someone and say, listen, we got 600 people that fly control line stunt, that build their own airplanes, that are the foundation of this organization, okay? Come on. I don't care about the 7 guys that fly helicopters, I just don't. You know, they can figure it out for themselves. So, you know, the more mouths you have, the more people hear you. And I just told the guys, I said, look, PAMPA was given to me, and guys did a good job of getting it to where it is. And I'd like the guy who replaces me or woman in 2 years to say, you know, Mark and the gang really did a great job. We can even do better. Okay, I just want to feel it in 2 years, but I'm not real patient, because I didn't want our term to start at the meeting at the Nats. I mean, there were guys who said to me, why have the meeting? So I said, because I'm PAMPA president and PAMPA runs that event. And we never have more than that number of people together. So I'm just not a good guy for people to say, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, it's so easy.
Well, we actually, when we connected with the RC club in our area, we got 2 or 3 new members that started flying.
Yep. Jim can talk about his experience.
That's an underestimate.
Okay. And as I said on earlier, the reason to join us, it's the only organization that is dedicated to control line stunt. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, if it wasn't for PAMPA, there would be things like intermediate, expert, beginner. It would be junior, senior, open. How'd you like that? Okay, we turned it into skill classes. And what PAMPA does in the future depends on who's running PAMPA and who's in it. You know, and I've told the guys, and they know this, I'm not PAMPA. I'm just a guy trying to lead the team. Okay? But I think there's so many things we can do without a lot of money. But if you want a good publication where you can learn what other people are doing in control line stunt, and if combat guys want to buy that thing, that's fine with me. That's fine with me. Okay, if free flight guys see value in being a member of PAMPA, I think that's fine. But from my point of view, I'd like to see PAMPA be PAMPA right now. You know, and make it very clear that if you want to, you know, be good, whether you fly it in your backyard or whether you come to the national championship, this is the place to be. I'm working right now with Brodak, and I'll know on Friday whether PAMPA members can get a flat discount every time they buy something. Okay, even if it's small, it's a step. Okay, and I'll contact Thunder Power, and I'll contact anyone I can think of, the badass people. Okay, Scorpion Engines, all those guys, you know. And if I say I got 50 members, they may not be excited. But if you say, you know, we're at 300, we're on our way to 400, 500, 600, they can probably give you 10%. You know? So we're going to end up with 11 district directors. Well, we have them now. A couple of them I've said, look, if you're in this position because you did someone a favor and you really don't want to do it, I'm okay with that. But I want you to find your replacement before you resign. Because otherwise, I'm going to think you're doing what we said we're going to do. So the district director to me is huge. I want him to have a hat, I want him to have a shirt. One of the things we talked about, John, was we were gonna start a plaque. That's gonna be shown every year as long as we're in the, on the LPAD, that says who the Nats event director was. Give the guy some credit. Okay. So that's a tough job. And that's our organization. So people say, well, why should I join? Because I don't go to the Nats. To me, it doesn't make a difference if you go to the Nats. Are you willing to support an organization that's strictly geared to help you? That's strictly geared to say, well, you know, it's still going on. Life's going on. We're getting some younger people. We're getting people who haven't done it in 40 years. Come on, come back. Okay. So, what questions do you have of me, or I want Jim? Jim, why don't you do this first? Give us a quickie of why you're here and your experience.
All right, thanks, Mark. I am Jim Barry. I'm the District 1 guy. And first off, every one of you, I'm sure, have thought about this, and that is how grateful we are to have Brodak back after 2 rough years.
Yeah.
Some guys weren't able to join us for the virus, for some other reasons, some other folks that just decided that maybe they're not well enough or whatever, but that you guys made it, and they made it, you all made it to Brodak. And Brodak happens because of the great work that Mark and Will Davis have done, and great hosts that Buzz and Sandy are, and all their help. Right? They really, you folks have made Brodak, you've made the competition and all that stuff. Hats off to all of you. Thank you. I'm fairly recent back to control line flying. Like a lot of guys that did it as a kid, life happened, and toward the end, I thought, I need to get back into this thing, and I went to 2016 Brodak, and I met Dick Carville. Music to my ears. Anyway, I met Dick Carville, and you know, I think everybody who needs to get back in the hobby needs to have some guidance, some support, some encouragement, and I got that from Dick Carville. I got it from Sarah Marie and Rick Huff as well, who live up in Vermont. And they and some of the other folks there in what is District 1 have encouraged me along the way. And so this is my first Brodak competition after showing up and seeing what it's all about in 2016. So I am grateful to the support and everything that I had, the leadership really, which kind of gets to what we're talking about here and has been brought up by Mark, and that is leadership. I'm going to digress just a little bit for a purpose. My background is pilot, full scale. I served in the Air Force for 20 years. Pilot, mission commander, instructor pilot, the whole thing. And then 21 years airlines, captain for 14 or 15 of it. And one thing I learned along the way was a good bit about leadership. And in the airline business, there was something else we didn't have, of course, in the Air Force, and that is association, pilot union, right? And Will Davis can tell you a thing or two about organizations and how important they are. And the connection here is the pilot association we had to deal with was to deal with the FAA and the company. They weren't competing, but they certainly had their own interests. So if it's a business, they'd like to expand, they'd like to fly more, they'd like to get more out of it. You say, you know what? We as pilots need to protect our profession, right? We need to protect the things that we do. We need to have a voice that is understandable. We need to have a voice that has authority. And to do that, we have to be together. So our pilot association was to the FAA and business what PAMPA is to the AMA. Okay, I believe that's a connection, and if you want a good reason to keep PAMPA going, and for future people that hopefully we're all able to kind of join, it's for that reason, because we speak control line precision aerobatics at PAMPA, and this is the place to keep it, and that's why we got to keep it. We got to make sure AMA knows it. Okay. So, very last thing is some of the efforts that we've been doing, several groups. You mentioned you got out to a field, you got some folks to join. That's great. That's exactly what we're looking for. We got a lot of Dick and I fly together at an RC field, joined RC, and they love to have control lines. Dick put on a couple of different demos. Man, I'll tell you what, it opened some eyes. So the next step is to let's take it a little bit further. And these guys who are competitive RC guys, let's see if we can get that competition thing going with themselves first and with each other, maybe at a flag, and get that excitement going. And maybe I think there's one great place to look for a PAMPA membership. Certainly the folks who've sort of drifted away but still fly, there's our others. So that's where our effort's gonna be. Leadership, last thing I'll say, leadership takes a lot of forms. We all picture a president or, you know, a great ball player, captain, whatever it happens to be. There's a lot of great leaders out there who are just quiet and they go about their business and people notice. And they're the fun ones, they're the ones who don't say a whole lot, but they have fun doing what they do. And man, I'll tell you what, that's where we're gonna grow. And that looks like fun. How do you do it? So that's sort of my mission. I know that's Mark's and Will's mission. And so let's go get it, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Comments, questions?
Has anyone been successful recruiting, stimulating the interest of young people in control arm? Or any control line stuff? We've tried. I mean, Danny's giving out kids and they always fly here. So far, they don't come back too much. But if anybody's been successful about that, we'd like to know.
Yeah.
And how.
Go ahead.
I've been trying to promote this, and I'm not a member. And I found a target group at the local dirt track races. All the kids have the prerequisite skills that are there with their dads racing. They pull into the pits in these little local dirt tracks, and those kids will have all four tires changed in no time. And you know, they know how to use a grinder or wrench. They know how to, you know, they have the prerequisite skills. And they love this. They love nitro. You know, these planes go round and round just like Dad's car. And most of those tracks got an infield where I found it really hard to deal with a local promoter, and I was going to rent the track with the whole idea of having a stadium there to have an event.
Yeah.
But I found working with the promoter, and like many racetrack promoters, they're pretty hard to deal with. Everything's right on the edge, and anyway, I ended up backing out of that deal because of dealing with who I had to deal with. But I did find a target group, you know, and,
that
and
makes
the
sense.
same thing with the little rodeos. Those kids know how to fix a tractor. You know, they can tinker stuff. That they've been around it. And that's the thing. When any kids I deal with, they don't know how to do anything. They don't know a crescent wrench from a hammer. So scary. You know, anyway, that's my two cents.
That's neat. I wonder about finding target groups. Yeah, perhaps.
You know, then I fly outside of 2 different state parks. Is the only mowed ground I got to fly on. And well, I'll find old timers that'll come out of the woodwork. Oh, I did that when I was a kid. They were a little plastic plane.
Are shop classes? Do we still do?
We
this
don't have shop classes.
We don't have shop classes anymore.
Yeah, they call it.
What do we call it?
Industrial arts.
Well, up in Vermont, they have it's part of the state education system that they have the academic route, and they have what I used to call VOTEC, right? And it's career training. And the kids do, you know, diesel engines, because we live in a farm area. They do diesel engines for farm tractors. They do woodworking. They do culinary arts. They do, you know, pre-nursing, depending, you know, what their interests are.
Yeah.
And to me, that seems like a good way, a good
That's
place
That's
to
a good
start.
idea.
I can answer that with, I don't know what district it is, must be 5. Scott Richland in Virginia, for years, goes to schools and he teaches kids to start with stick models, but they have to build everything before they fly it. And that's the buy-in. You know, we're in such a toss it and buy and do one environment. That you can give a kid a plane. You know, we've done it, and then you never see them again. So one of the things that the new brochure has on it, we're working on a new brochure, is the last side of the last fold out. Okay, here's the name of someone you can contact. The kid and the dad come to the field. I don't care which one we get. I don't care if it's mom or the sister. You know, we don't care. here's someone that we know, it's a PAMPA member, okay, and you're not dead in the water, all right? So, I'd like to do that. I'm tired of people telling me that, you know, the kids today are not interested in this, not interested in that.
They said that about us too, but we didn't do a whole lot of it. But I just want to share this real quick. The RC club near us, I mean, they have been so generous. We actually have the huge part of our yearly contest takes place at their field, which they prep, and they couldn't be more supportive. So possibly you may find that an RC field that is willing to accommodate you would allow one day of their schedule for control line stunt.
Tell us about Salem Club.
Yeah, Salem Club is an RC club. And
South Jersey.
South Jersey. And maybe 6-7 years ago, there was one person that flew control line. Probably most of you knew him was Skeet Dombrowski.
Okay.
So we put a circle in for Skeet to fly. And over the course of time, that continued to bring out people like RC guys and saying, hey, you know, just exactly what you're saying is, I remember doing that when I was a kid, let me try it. So a lot more got involved, and we actually wound up with 12 new members, and they all fly control line.
That's awesome.
So
You need someone to drive it, you know, you got a good guy here. Is every club gonna do it? No. No. Okay.
Yeah, there's another RC field that been at there probably 15 years now. It's about 5 miles off of Logan Airport. And they gave us a piece of land, and the seagrass was about this high. And we built that field. It's a gorgeous control line field. Anybody would be happy to fly there. When we did that, we had about 25 guys flying control line. And 4 guys came over from RC. Bought planes, started building, started flying. Now, we have maybe 2 or 3 control line guys to fly out.
Why is that?
I think part of it is there's no competitions anymore. In New England, we used to have half a dozen competitions a year, plus we'd go down to New York or we'd go to Connecticut. And you know how it is for competition. You're always trying to get better, and I think that drives it. And people will come by sometimes and say, what is this? You know, what is this? How do I get into this? And then, you know, if somebody takes their number and they get in contact with them, next thing you know, they're flying.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the true answer is, but I mean, we have a gorgeous field down there that it just doesn't get
Yeah,
used.
so, you know, it's like the deal, if you build it, they will come. But you gotta keep them coming.
I have one other thing to add along those lines. I thought about this for a while, but there's an organization in Ohio called Flight Test. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Flight Test. They're an RC group, but their foundation is built on getting the family and their children involved in building RC models primarily out of foam and things like that. But at this point, they've grown to a point where they have purchased an entire golf course. And that is all available. They even have the clubhouse facility set up with shops that they can build and all that.
Yep.
And I've often thought if we had somebody in that area that could approach them and say, would you consider control lines?
They did build a control line model once.
They did build a control line.
Yeah.
Is that Peter Spicoli?
But that was as far as it lasted.
I'm sorry, say again?
The name is Peter Spicoli?
Well, he was a member of that group, but he's not any longer.
Because he goes to Radical RC and those guys down there know him.
Yeah.
I can talk to them.
I can't remember the primary guy, you know, at this point in time, but, I mean, they're all, if you go on to YouTube, you can find, not YouTube, but the internet, do a search for Flight Test. They've got a web page set up and all, and contact information. They hold 2 events a year.
Okay, here's a really good situation where there are people out there that you can contact, but nobody knows how to contact them.
Absolutely.
PAMPA needs to get that organization information in one spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just, I'll make enough of my own mistakes, but there have been some made in the past too.
Well, when you renew your AMA membership, they ask you for your interest.
Yeah.
Can we get that
Yeah.
and subtract out the PAMPA members and go after everybody else?
Yeah.
It says control line.
So, you know, to me, the answer is not really the 11 people or the board or myself or the others who are kind of in admin positions. If Pampa members would try to grow Pampa at their own level.
There's
I
one
mean,
thing-
if I went to like a junior high school, I think I'd go in there and say, I like the name of every geek you have. I want the guy with the thick glasses, you know, that are bright, they score well, they're probably not socially as active as some of the others, and I bet you these kids, look, if they're 100, we get 2 or 3, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
Well, if we're talking about growing it, we've also gotta maintain it. If, you know, I haven't paid my dues this year, we got talking, I went online, I can't log in. It says, well, we'll send you a thing to reset your password. And we've been talking 30 minutes, nothing.
We have some issues we need to fix.
Right, and the thing is, new people, you know, here I know, and I asked, and just did a search, I found our organization. New people have to be able to find it easy and find it easy to join.
Yep.
Mark, do you have any staff to help you produce these lists if you need and come up with this info, or you have to do it yourself?
No. We have a historian and a guy who does a newsletter, David Short's a good guy out on the West Coast. You know, whoever jumps in. You know, we got a lot of talent. We got Paul Walker is one of the district reps, Bob Hunt is a district rep, and Derek Barry are district reps. But, you know, the magic is not who's on your team, it's who's playing. You know?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in the dugout still, you know, and I gotta get my bat and kind of say, you know, I need you. I don't wanna do this on my own.
Right.
So.
I just wondered if you had the tools to get her done.
Well, I'll give you an idea of the difference in thinking. I told someone in the organization that I was gonna be here, and I thought it was a golden opportunity to talk about Pampa.
Yep.
And to sign some people up, if they want to. And I said, here's my problem. My computer and my phone do not work here. I just can't get a signal, even though I can dial into Buzz's Wi-Fi, it doesn't work. I was on the Pampa site, I couldn't do it. So I said, look, if I have to collect cash or collect a check, I'll give everyone a receipt, and I'll put it under my card, and I'll send everyone a receipt. Well, you don't want to do that, it's a pain in the neck to go to the bank. I said, wait a minute. The easiest thing should be to join the organization.
Yeah.
The second easiest thing should be, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing for me? What can I do for you? So, I'm here, not to beg you to join, to first let you know we're climbing again. I'm not sure the last time the blip has gone up. I'm sure it has, but I don't have the data, okay? My financial report was that, not that many pages, that many lines.
Oh, jeez.
But it's responsible, there's money there, okay? And I just want to take this thing and grow it. Because I think we have a great time at places like this. Buzz was thrilled to know that I'm running Pampa. You know, years ago, I don't think that would have gone over so well. And Pampa was not a good word.
I suspect that.
Yeah. So we have an opportunity, you know, Pampa is me and John and Jim and everyone in here is a Pampa member. That's what Pampa is. You know, it's not a condition or a disease. You know, it's a bunch of people trying to build what you and I know is a great hobby. A great hobby.
Well, one of the reasons I left Pampa, because I couldn't get access to the internet part of it.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard that before. So I figure, you know, if anyone wants to join up, I'm just doing it this way. Put the vital information down here and I'll give you a handwritten receipt that I collected your money. And I promise you within, when do I get back, Sunday? Within a week, you're gonna be a Pampa member.
Part of this, I don't know, I may have paid the dues. I was going on to even find out, did I pay them, and if not, I'll pay them now.
Okay.
Well, if we can't find these things,
I can probably figure that out maybe when I get back to the hotel.
sounds good.
Okay, so if any of you want to know if you're current Pampa members, let me know before we break. Okay. I'm going to, I've been thinking about having Pampa Zoom meetings. Okay, pay the extra to Zoom, and anyone around the country who wants to get on. You know, any of the district directors that want to get on, I'll get on. And to make that connection.
It's $161 for that big meeting like that.
Okay.
That's what I gotta
That's for
pay.
the year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I gotta
I'll
pay.
that. I'll pay it out of pocket,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Mark, if I might, before I zoom out of here, but I might want to point out that the fellows that can't get confirmation that they paid their dues, they don't know, because PAMPA never responded back in the day. I'm one of those. I paid, but there's no responses from anybody.
I was that way, Bruce was that way, we just weren't sure.
Couldn't figure it out. And I think that that's a key, to have the thing all over the place is not smart. I think we need to go back to having a regular, like the March 1st of the year, some kind of thing where you have it every year, that's when PAMPA dues are due. And have a way of responding back to the member that we've got your money. Confirm your currency. It's all good, you know, and that's.
There's a dark side
I've
to
talked to you
that,
about
too.
that before, but I just wanted to bring it up because these guys are all saying the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's been, when the magazine arrives, you know you're still on the list.
That's
But then
Well-
the magazine's been so hit and miss that you just don't know.
But the magazines are too, so expensive. There's no way we could.
Well, they're a newsletter now.
Well, yeah, and that's
You know,
fine,
Okay,
that's
well,
fine.
the whole thing about I don't wanna go back to the magazine. The magazine I thought was super, we
Oh,
don't have the
yeah,
money for it.
that was beside me.
Okay, with 300, 400, 500 members, you're not gonna have a 70-page magazine, it's too expensive.
And even.
You
when
need
they-
one that big.
Well,
even when
I'd
they
rather
do,
start
it's
with
too
16 pages that's dedicated to PAMPA, that goes to anyone who's a PAMPA member. Personally, I'm not willing to put it on the internet where someone who's not a PAMPA member can read it. I'm just not.
Right.
You know, and if I had my way next year at the Nats, you can't fly unless you're a PAMPA member.
Steve Berry said he's going to be rejoined this weekend, but he has to wait till payday.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. So I'll be here. If you don't want to join, I'm okay with that. I hope you do. I'll help you do it. If you want to do it when you're home, that's fine. People will forget. I'm with it. You go to PAMPA, cl.org. And it's right there, and if it says, become a member, you hit that right-hand box, and it opens up a very simple page. You just put in the basic information, name, address, email, phone number, AMA number, and the bottom, they have maybe 6 choices of credit cards. Okay? Because we don't have a big staff, and there is a thing about dealing with every check and every cash, but I'd rather do that and get this thing going, and then make it more difficult.
I got one more comment that I guess I didn't mention about attracting people, and I feel this is really, really true. If you have a flying site and you can know that people are gonna be there like every Wednesday and every Sunday afternoon, things start showing up. That's how we grew originally. And then what happened, we got a little smaller, and we started saying, well, we'll go what day, the weather, okay? And a couple of weeks ago, I was down flying RC down at the field down in Boston, and 2 guys came up to me and said, hey, you guys aren't here Wednesdays anymore, what's going on, you know? And I said, well, you know, we picked up shots, so I'm convinced if you can have some kind of a dedicated time period where people know, if I go there, there's gonna be somebody flying, it kind of grows.
Yeah, we've got the ear of the RC president, Tim, is on board with that. We're working that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say this last thing in addition to what these guys have done. I got a call from a guy who's the president of the Harrisburg Club. He doesn't know me, I don't know, but he got my name somewhere. And he said, I've got an issue here. I got 2 guys who are members of the organization. One guy said he'd help. I said, what do you need help with? He said, we want to build a circle. I'm getting no help. I said, oh my God. I said, really? He said, I don't know how big they should be. I don't know anything about drainage. And what about the area around the circle? How much room do you need? And I just felt that here's a club that's ready to go. And they're lucky, lucky with that a little bit. They got me, you know, so I called the district guy, who happens to be Mr. Hunt. And I said, Bobby, I'm gonna pick you up and we're gonna go up there. We're not gonna make this by email, we're just gonna get in the car, I'll pick you up and let's go visit the place. You know? So, I know it's taken a while, I know it's warm in here. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this many people, I really didn't. They 4 showed up, that's fine. You all and me and the guys, we can make a difference. Okay, and just out of ego, I'm not gonna let this slide. I'm not.
Never would have guessed that.
Okay, I'm not, it's not gonna happen. All right, I don't care if I have to go door knocking, I'm gonna go to the organization. But we want that value added, we wanna say, I wanna get it to the point where anyone who flies control line stunt, at any level, it's not even a question whether they join PAMPA. You know, it's like passing around the basket in church. You happen to believe in the higher power, you happen to believe that people around you are on the same path you are. I'm not equating that. All right,
How much do you guys pay for your web server?
I have no idea.
How much is membership?
It's $45.
$40. Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
gonna
this.
talk to you after
Okay, okay.
meeting.
So if anyone wants to enroll, stay. Or if you want to do it at home, please do it at home. He did. Okay.
I believe I'm a member.
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna be around through Sunday.
Did you get the newsletter?
Stay
Not
down.
yet. Yeah, not yet. It was only about a week or two
Yeah,
ago.
you just signed up a
Oh,
couple
okay.
days
Oh, I
ago.
see.
Yeah.
I hope you can feel, the passion. And no one forced you to do it. You know, if someone forced you to do something, I don't think you're gonna give it your best. I'm a Vietnam veteran, I was a company commander in Vietnam. My wife and I both cancer survivors. Every day to me is a big day. And I don't wanna waste time. You know,
Well, guys, as I mentioned, leadership, there's all different kinds of leadership. Here's a leader right here, and he's taking it on board. Let's get it on board and help him out. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
have a great afternoon.
Fair winds, tight lines, see ya.
Yeah, there you go.